to everybody for inviting me, and it's good to be back in this arena, in this family, executive director, ministers, friends. It's great to be here today on Mallorca, and I have to say, probably it's not so sustainable, but I was here also last week on Mallorca to visit the hydrogen plant in Luceta, which was quite impressive and was a lot of learning, and I will transfer this also in our sustainability agenda. So I need my clicker. Somebody told me here is a clicker. Here's a clicker, perfect. And I think another important topic for me is, and for all of us in the room, is we have seen what has happened without tourism in the last years during Corona, and now tourism is back. And I think this is also the right time now to talk more about sustainable transformation. We have started all before, but now I think it's the time really to change and to show action. So let me start. That's always very important for me when we are talking about sustainability, and this is United Nations work, and it's from 1987. It's a Brundtland Commission, Gro Harlem Brundtland, the former Norwegian Prime Minister, when she gave the definition, what is sustainability? And it's economic, social, and environmental sustainability, as also the executive director mentioned in her speech before. It's always important to see the balance, because we could see in the last 2 years during the pandemic what will happen when no tourists are at some places in the world. And sometimes as a German, I say, well, we are probably slightly a little bit arrogant because we have automotive industry, we have pharmaceutical industry, we have production, and there are other countries in the world, they have national goods, but there are countries in the world, they have only, and they have not only, they have sun, beach, service. They like to do service. And these countries had really a difficult time, and they had to suffer during the pandemic. And also we have been very grateful that the UNWTO has done a lot of things on this topic. I remember the conference last year in New York about a more sustainable but also resilient tourism industry, which was driven by you and the team. Thank you very much for this. So let's really focus on these 3 pillars, and that's the way how TUI is driving the sustainability agenda. And this is probably also today on me to give you a little bit a view behind the scenes of TUI, of our business. And when I talk about TUI, it's probably also to see sustainability in some parts of the business. When you're an airline, you focus probably on the environmental piece, on new engines and sustainable fuel. TUI is an airline, TUI is a cruise company, TUI is a hotel company, TUI is a hotel company with owned hotels, with joint ventures, like here on Mallorca, with the joint venture with the Rio family, or with the Ramis family, with Group Hotel. So we have excursions. We have a broad field of topics where we are working on in sustainability. And for me, it's always important to show, and the number was also mentioned before, how many people are working on sustainability. And the other topic is when you see the spendings of tourists in the least developed countries, it's $536 billion US. And if you see on the same level, all state development, state corporation money, it's $146 billion US. So it's 3.7 times higher what tourists spend in these countries than which is all development support, development cooperation by states. And this shows, I think, the pressure and the power of the tourism industries. Tourism is a force for good, and we know about our footprint. We know about what we have to change. I think this is our clear agenda. But on the other hand, we should really all focus on the positive impact, which means education, which means start of new businesses. We just had also the Doha conference, which was mentioned before. At the Doha conference, we started a development fund for sustainable business for the least development countries together with UNWTO. So I think there is a lot of chances for a number of countries in the world to get better, to participate, to strengthen local communities, to strengthen also business. But we know the footprint, what we have to change, biodiversity, we have the waste topic, energy use, etc. I just mentioned by trip Mallorca last week when we visited the hydrogen plant. I like very much what is on this sign, leading the transformation. That's a very clear motto, and I think it fits very much with our ambition. We see the sustainable transition as an opportunity, not as a burden. Some people are telling me always, oh, there is regulation from the European Union, so there is a Green Deal 2050. This is one approach, but our approach is not a burden. It's not something which is only given by legislators, which is given by regulation. Our approach is, let's take the chance. We are ready to take the chance, and we want to take it. And we believe tourism will be better, life will be better, and there will be a better life for societies and for people. And I think it's important also when you look in your own company, when you talk to colleagues, when you talk to employees, but also when you talk to your communities. Politicians like to talk about reforms. When I was working with the president of Germany, he said, we politicians like to talk about reforms. Our citizens don't like reforms because this means change. We have to give them confidence that they are ready for this change. We have to tell them what they have achieved in the past. And because they have achieved these things in the past, they are ready to do the next steps. They are ready for the next reforms. Reforms is something which is liked by politicians. Normal people probably a little bit more resistant, and they want to know that they're ready for this change. And I think this is important, that everybody in his daily business, in his daily life, is thinking about what has he or she achieved in the past. And in a company, well, you can measure this because we have done this in the last years. We have invested in new aircraft. This means you have reduction of carbon emissions in the last years. We have certified our excursions. We have certified our hotels. We have started to get a very modern fleet in the West with a cruise vessel. So this all things shows that we are ready for the next step now for the transition. On the one hand is investment, on the other hand it's education. It's really giving also your colleagues and the teams the ability that they can train, that they can learn, and also to inform customers, to work with customers on a strong base, what sustainability means. So when we started thinking about our new sustainability agenda, and this was directly before the pandemic started, we started the discussion about how can we achieve the United Nations goals, etc. Then the pandemic came, and then we had a disruption in our discussion and started again. We said it's people, it's planet, it's progress. People, because it's about the societies, the communities, the local communities. Communities should benefit from the power of tourism in the destinations. This is the same in Mallorca, but also in the least developed countries. Planet is our footprint. We discussed before about, we have a clear roadmap how to reduce our footprint, and progress means how to collaborate with destinations, with partners. I believe strongly that we all can become better when we collaborate, when we engage together. And today we are in Mallorca, we are in Spain. Canary Islands are with us, so we are in Spain. I will not talk about our collab. TUI has started a collab, but this collab is not in Spain, and therefore I will not talk in this room about another country. But this means we can roll out it to other places, and for us it's to create a fully holistic, sustainable destination. That's the most important topic for us, to partner with everybody. This means we can have high ambition. UNWTO can have high ambition. Balearics can have high ambition. Mallorca can have high ambition, but it will only work when we all work together in this industry, because this industry has so many single players working together. So you need the hoteliers, so you need the rental car companies, you need probably the waste management, you need the local communities, and so on. And it will work when you have a plan and a concept to roll out it together. So progress means working with our partners. All our initiatives we started now since 2022 are centered around these three areas: people, planet, progress, and prosperity was mentioned. When we discussed about our title, we decided for people, planet, progress, and I think 2 or 3 weeks later there was the huge conference, and I heard the word prosperity, and I said, prosperity might be better, but now it looked like a copy, so we decided we stay with our people, planet, progress. So there is a strong focus on the emission, and that's right, on nature and on reducing our footprint. And therefore, this was mentioned before in all discussion. There's always a discussion about reducing, or on the other hand, compensation. We decided to be clear for reducing, a clear reduction roadmap. And I can tell you, we worked with a consultancy with Roland Berger. They have monitored everything from 2019 in all business sectors, hotel, cruise, and aviation. And then they defined a path and a roadmap how to reduce our emission. This has been, as was mentioned before, checked by the Science-Based Target Initiative. So we decided for this way, having a clear reduction roadmap, because also compensation, the carbon is in the air. Yeah, so it's nothing you can compensate, but it's nothing on you have no reduction on this. So we decided probably for the way which was much more difficult, and at sometimes I thought the guys in SBTI know us better than we know ourselves. They sent questions over questions. It was a process of 2.5 years. We discussed with SBTI, but we got the certification in January this year for our roadmap, for our path for the next year. So I will do this very, very short. It's a reduction of 46% in all our hotel businesses. It's a reduction of 28% for our cruise business. We are the first cruise company which is now certified by SBTI, and it's a 24% by 2030 for the aviation. And this is 2030, which is a step. It's a mid-step, I would say. And our ambition is higher. Our ambition is also higher for the hotel business. Our ambition for the hotel business is to get the 100% target in 2030. And we now started a lot of initiatives. I mentioned just with it last week here in the hydrogen plant. We started now to have the first hotels with solar panel. We are talking about new ways of energy production using bio-waste and so on. I would say we have full teams now which are monitoring and which are engaging with our partners to make our hotels and our cruise business fully sustainable. I just mentioned progress, that this was something really to work closer and more in a partnership with our colleagues in the destination. This is quite important because you cannot make decisions from a headquarter in Germany or London or wherever in the world. The destination is core, and the partners in the destination, the hotel partners, as I mentioned before, also all other partners, you have to integrate them and you should work with them together. And there's a quite interesting project here also on Mallorca with transport, with green hydrogen coaches. So they use it for the public transport in the city. That is not the same we need in the tourism industry, because in the tourism industry you have luggage probably, and this is a different kind of a coach or bus you need. But this should be not a stopper. We said, okay, it's interesting to know that's a different bus, but this in a highly innovative world where engineers can do a lot of things. This should be not a stopper. When the technology for the coach is there, we should find a way to get also luggage and such things on a bus. So we try to get, and I will meet the minister this afternoon again. We will try to get the first bus ready for the season, also for our customers. It's not confirmed now, but we are working on this because we are quite excited about what we have seen. Probably some other topics. I think it's also very important that your customers and that your guests feel that everything you're doing in sustainability is close to them. So emotionalize the product. So we have a TUI forest here on Mallorca. This was started 8 years ago. This forest is reforestation near to Arta. and we will enlarge this. We have just made some discussions with the government and the local partner. We will enlarge this forest, and we will start also forests at other places in the world. We are just starting something in Peru. We have a forest in the Dominican Republic. We start a new one on roads very soon. So there will be new projects coming on this. On people, as I mentioned before, I think here's the strength of our industry. When we talk about the challenges, it's always about the environmental footprint, but everything on people, I would say this industry is fantastic because we are creating jobs. It's a, let's say, an industry like a hub and spoke. Tourism is a hub, and there are a lot of spokes around. And we have cross-sectoral chances for a lot of people, creating new businesses, small startups, IT companies, service. There are a lot of also development opportunities for people. Probably the way when you want to be a doctor, it's very clear you have to study medicine. In the service industry, I would say, if you're ambitious, if you have talent, if you work hard, you can do a career. This is very important in some places of the world where we have probably not the same education standards we have now in Central Europe. Yeah, I would say there is a lot of opportunities, and that's something we are very much pushing with the TUI Foundation, TUI Care Foundation. The TUI Care Foundation now operates in 25 countries in the world. A lot of academies where we bring young people, also I would say people from disadvantaged families in their first jobs, training on the job, and then that they get a full engagement in a company. So education is very important, creating new jobs, creating new companies, startup companies, also empower female. We have a lot of research done, especially during the pandemic, where we had a lot of programs with the state, UNWTO, but also with the German government, also with the World Bank, where we supported small businesses around the world. A lot of businesses started by women are more sustainable, and they are more successful. So I think it's also a chance for us to support female founders, female startups led by female leaders for the next generation of tourism managers and tourism colleagues. And field to fork, it's something, for me, it's very important that we use more local products. I think the local value chain is so important. It's important for the local communities, for the local business, for the acceptance of tourism, also on Mallorca, but on every other place of the world. But it's also important for the customers, because I believe the customers want to have local products. They want to have authentic experiences when they visit Spain, Greece, Mexico, whatever. They want to have authentic experiences. And therefore, we started a project in the company where we asked our hotel colleagues to work more with local suppliers, to give local suppliers the opportunity to send their products to the hotels. We started also with TUI Care Foundation some projects, some in other countries, not in Spain now, but I can say there was an example in one country. They have fantastic oil and they have fantastic wine, but they got their wine and their oil from a different country. And I asked why. They told me, well, we do not really know, but probably our suppliers are too small. Our farmers have not the right abilities to sell it, to market it, and so on. And then we said, okay, let's think about a new way. Let's start an association. So we brought all the farmers and all the wine farmers and all the farmers together and said, let's start an association. So then you are strong enough, then you have enough volume, then you have enough power to market. And this initiative was very successful. It was started by somebody, probably the ministers in the room, and you know her very well, Elena Coutura, the former minister of Greece. So when she asked me, I said, okay, I will support your idea. I'm not really sure why the Germans should tell the Greek how to do it. Now we are in the country where this has happened, but it was a successful project. And now the olive farmers are happy, the wine yard owners are happy, and the customers are happy, and the hoteliers. And I think to focus more on local value chain and to go innovative ways, and this is very important. We have started just a new project, Field to Fork, exactly going in the same direction. It's with TUI Foundation, where we invested in local farmers and supported local farmers, and they got then later offers from the hotels, and not only from TUI related hotels. That's always very important when we are working with TUI Foundation. We offered this to all. We asked all the hoteliers in the region, well, here's a new project. This is produced by local farmers. Please take their goods and sell it to the customers. So I'm running out of time. I will do it very fast. I think we know where we are staying and where our challenges for the future: reduce, improve, strengthen, collaborate. I think these are the keywords for me. And well, tourism is about social and economic prosperity. It's about understanding, international understanding and cultural dialogue. I was working with the German president, Roman Herzog, when he was in office, and the dialogue of cultures was his main topic. And this topic was 1995. So we are talking about how can we promote the international dialogue of cultures, and tourism is the best way to strengthen this way of culture, this way of openness, this way of collaboration. It's probably also a peace industry. And it's, for me, the probably most efficient way of development cooperation, because people benefit directly. It's not transfer of wealth, not transfer of state money. What we have seen in the chart at the really beginning, guests, tourists are spending monies in these countries, and this means they spend money in products which have been developed by the local people, and they strengthen the local communities. So for me, it's really clear: tourism is the best way of international development cooperation. We are excited about the transformation, the sustainable transformation, and hopefully we will get a lot of partners. And if there are any good ideas out of this room of partners in the industry, we are very happy well, to take this discussions with you and to start projects. That's the way we are working, discussing with our partners, with our friends in the destinations, and develop projects together, not projects coming from a headquarter in Hanover. Thank you very much, and I'm happy. I will be here also tomorrow, happy to discuss with you, to meet you personally in the area around. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas.